There is a reason that fairy tales have such an enduring legacy. It is because they romanticize life, love, and relationships. Once the prince and princess have fallen in love and married, they live happily ever after, and it is implied that they will never experience anything apart from marital bliss. The truth is that life is not a storybook, and marriage is not the ending as it is in the fairy tales, but it is the beginning of a journey which no one is prepared for. At the end of the day, love will always prevail, but that doesn't mean that it is always smooth sailing. The following are some truths about married life which no one really talks about, and this is something which definitely needs to change. For even more enlightening insights and intriguing discussions, please subscribe to this channel so that you are the first to know when there is new content. As unromantic as it may seem, there will always be the question of money, budgeting and spending. Whether it is dividing bills, seasonal shopping sprees or family holidays, it is inevitable that there will be some disagreements about where the money should go. As important as compromise may be, there will be some days where the hassle isn't worthwhile and the only option is to ignore the bank statements for a few days whilst your other half enjoys some retail therapy. Since we were children, we've been taught that sharing is caring. When it comes to marriage, the boundaries become so blurred they're almost indistinguishable. Sharing things such as financial responsibilities, childcare and household tasks is probably unavoidable. When it comes to sharing the television remote or the box of chocolates, however, then it is okay to be selfish on occasion. Laughter is said to bring people together, but many husbands take it a little too far. Whether it is pranking their significant other or making a joke at their expense, there are many times where the recipient will be less than amused. They usually have the last laugh, however, because the husband finds himself sleeping on the couch at night. However close you may be to your wife, there are some lines which should not be crossed. If she happens to have mentioned to you that she feels like she's put on weight or that she should go to the gym, under no circumstances should you agree. It should be common knowledge at this point, yet so many continue to make this fatal mistake. It's your responsibility to remind your wife that she is as beautiful and perfect as the day you first met. If you have to be somewhere in an hour, it shouldn't be difficult to be ready half an hour in advance. When a deadline approaches, however, the passage of time seems to accelerate, and without warning, you and your significant other are more than an hour late with nothing to show for it. This never seems to change either, because you'll find yourself in the same situation decades later. The only difference is that you might have a couple of kids to include in the chaos as well. Regardless of how large it is, the blanket will never be enough for two people. Someone will always have to sacrifice their warmth and comfort in exchange for a couple of hours of decent sleep. The only solutions in this scenario is to either suffer in silence or invest in a second blanket and hope against hope that it isn't taken as well. No matter how many times they do it, men seem to struggle with grocery shopping. Even when they are provided with a perfectly written and labeled list, something always seems to go wrong. The mystery is whether this is genuine confusion or whether it is deliberate incompetence so that they are never sent to purchase groceries ever again. Conflict is inevitable when a couple of adults are trying to intertwine their lives with one another. Arguments happen and they are awful to experience. But during a fight, you also address actual issues with which you are struggling with in your marriage, and which might otherwise have remained buried deep inside. If you both work on resolving and communicating these problems, then conflict won't weaken your marriage, it will only make it stronger. A wonderful marriage isn't one that is without conflict, but one where the couple keeps trying to understand and empathize with each other without ever giving up. Married life isn't necessarily for the faint of heart. It is for those who are prepared for unpredictable events, unpleasant truths, and deep reflection. Your love for one another will ensure that you always pull through at the end, but the journey there isn't particularly pretty. Sometimes, however, the most unromantic truths about your marriage teach you the most about yourself, your partner, and your relationship. Your love might be imperfect and nothing like a storybook, but it is real love, and nothing can compare to that.